Hi, I'm just going to demonstrate how to put in a prompt in any of the GPTs just to help you make just very not really creative maps, more intuitive maps, but just how you can key in some basic prompt to generate a map. And then I'll also show you some of the GPTs that are currently available in the GPT store, which you can use. So for demonstration's sake, I wanted to, for example, show areas in Africa that recently were affected by severe flooding. And I put in this basic prompt. So instead of I saying make, I rather ask a question so that I get some few responses. So I did mention of Chad, Mali, Niger, as well as Nigeria, and Liberia also. And then there are also a few websites that it included over here, the Center for Disaster Philanthropy, UNICEF also. And then the second prompt was to ask if it can geocode and plot this location on an African map. So you have to remember to use these keywords because you are asking it for specific location. So it's always good to keep in mind this prompt. And you can see that it didn't really make any yeah, if you look at the location, they actually correspond, they make sense. But I think Niger might be wrong. I'm not quite sure if it's on this exact long lat, but you can check it later on. But this is essentially what the mapping is about. You have to always verify the output. I personally do not like to use generative prompts for mapping. If it has to do with like complex coding where you need to put in some parameters or functions which you don't know, then of course you can give an example of such image to the prompt and then they can help you with that. But to generate a map directly in a generative AI environment is not always advisable. So here you can see that even Chad is falling on Mali, Nigeria is also there. Yeah, I think Nigeria might also be within the same lat long. Then over here, I asked it to also add a context map. If you are writing in Python, then you can also use the contextuality library for that. I think it has more than 200 base maps, and then you can call in different base maps. But GPT cannot do that for you because it doesn't have the capability to extract these URL from these base maps to make. So when I ask it, it rather use the DALL-E, the DALL-E to make this map, which is also very funny. It has Liberia here. I'm not sure why Liberia is here. Mali is also here. Niger is also somewhere in the Middle East. So essentially, it does well to plot the locations. For the location, they are correct. I did check them, but you can see that the labelings are not so intuitive. So what you can do with this DALL-E is, for example, if you click here, if you don't want something is very weird here that you want it to be changed, for example, you can highlight where Liberia is. You can also highlight where they put Mali, and then you can give it a prompt. So if you give it a prompt over here, I said here should be ocean, and then here is also not Mali. And then if you key in, then I try to remove only Mali, but it still have libraries in. I don't know what that is still there, so you can still edit this DALL-E image and then tell it where it can make changes. So you can see that over here, let me clear this, I'll just cancel. So you can see that over here, I also asked it to add the actual base map. An example of such base map in the library is the open topography map. And now it said to me that it can't actually access external resources. So this is also one of the limitations of using generative AI prompt to generate a map. I would just advise not to do that. But I also asked it differently, and then it did also show or gave some code using this nominative geocode API, where you can just locate or geocode certain locations and then plot them. So it gave this yeah, more or less basic code to plot this, but again you see that the output is also very horrible. So what you could do is to also give the output image to it. You can, for example, use paint editor to highlight the places that you want. You see that the DRC has a very long. You can ask it to modify it a little bit, and even essentially just center African map and blow it a bit larger, because you're not interested in this part. And I think in that case, then it can help you to do closely to what you want to do. But otherwise, just copy pasting code is not going to help. So the last thing that I'm going to show is also that I think 6 or 7 months ago I wrote this post on Medium, and it's also had a lot of interest. And what I tried to do was to use this AI called GPT plugin called GeoGPT. And what it does is it also uses some form of locational intelligence to understand your prompt. If it has location element, then it helps you to geocode and plot them. So I have the link here. I also share the link to this blog post in the description, and you can check it out. So here I did explain what I asked it to do first. I said geocode all the areas in the world that was heavily flooded. I think that month there were a lot of flooding, so I think that is why they didn't specify. But you see that here it didn't make any sensible output. It gave reasons why it can't do it, because it can't access real-time or historical global flood data. So I revised the prompt and then specified it to Africa, and then now it said yes. So it gave me some areas, and then I just said that geocode and plot these areas in an African map, and then it did something, or it gave me something like this, which is way better than what I showed you in the GPT. This one and this one. So this is way better. It even have a proper base map to it. And then I also gave some reflections. Indeed, these AI tools are going to make a lot of changes in how we map, how we take certain decisions, but always please try your best to double check the output of these results, just to make sure that you are indeed seeing what you have to see. Otherwise, then you even get some results like putting Mali here or Liberia. So that is it. The last thing is to also give you some GPTs, which currently can be used to perform some mapping or write some coding, or even give you some guideline on how to implement some analysis either in QGIS or ArcGIS or any GIS software related. This is what I use for my blog post. And Cartographer, that also works a little bit. It can give you a code. This one I think is not free. After some prompts you would have to go to their actual website, buy credits before you'll be able to ask further questions. So I'll also leave this list in the description, and then you can just go straight to GPT, search for them in the Explorer or GPT store, and you can try them out. Thank you.